Laughed at the episode 17 Cure Gorilla joke, but what if he actually joined the team? Let's recap the episode first. Akin and Miyuki are performing manzai, a style of Japanese stand-up comedy in their secret base. Everyone laughs at their performance except Ryuka, who can't understand the joke. Akin explains that the comedy duo FUJIWARA are coming to town for a manzai contest, and Akin, a big fan of the duo, is planning to enter. When the villains learn about the comedy event, they fear that the laughter produced would be disastrous to their goals. Majorina creates a pair of rings for her next scheme. Wolfrun and Akyani decide to enter the contest as a duo under the name Bad End Bombers. At the contest, Akin heads backstage hopping to meet FUJIWARA, and she meets them. Candy nearly blows her cover, but the girls convince the comedians that it's ventriloquism. FUJIWARA is amused by the girls' antics and suggests they enter as a 5-person group. Wolfrun and Akyani perform in the contest, but their act is just crazed ranting and the crowd doesn't appreciate it. Next, the girls perform under the team name precure, but spotting their parents in the audience, they get stage fright and fumble their routine. The audience still thinks it's hilarious. They head backstage with a sense of failure, but FUJIWARA gives them words of encouragement. As FUJIWARA step on stage for their own performances, Majorina throws her magic rings around the duo's necks. It causes the pair to lose their kansai sense and their sense of humor, and their comedy act flops. Majorina proceeds to create a bad end space, sucking bad end energy from everyone, including FUJIWARA. Akin is angered that Majorina ruined the duo's act, and the girls transform. Majorina uses both a red nose Akanb and a blue nose Akanb created from 2 Fujiwara signboards. The blue nose Akanb, in the form of Fujimoto, knocks the precure down with its giant head and pins them by sitting on top of them. Majorina then starts to boast that comedy is useless and that smiles and happiness are meaningless. However, FUJIWARA overhears this and breaks free from despair, something previously only achieved by precures. When Majorina questions how this is possible, Fujimoto replies that it's because he has such a big head, which is his comedy catchphrase. FUJIWARA declares themselves the greatest comedy duo of all time, breaking free from their constraints through sheer willpower. Candy accidentally reveals her suspicions about FUJIWARA possibly being precures, prompting them to try transforming. Haranishi attempts to transform into Cure Gorilla using his flip phone, but it doesn't work. However, this causes the blue nose Akanb to fall over laughing, freeing the precures. The red nose Akanb attempts to attack FUJIWARA but is stopped by Cure Sunny, who is inspired by her love for making people happy, whether through comedy or making okonomiyaki. She fights the Akanb with fiery power and finishes it off with Sunny Fire. The other Cure team up to knock over the blue nose Akanb, and the 5 of them use rainbow healing to destroy it. After everything returns to normal, FUJIWARA resumes their sketch. FUJIWARA and the precure agree that they are united by their mission to protect people's smiles. Akin asks them to keep the precure's identities secret and they agree. However, to her embarrassment, during a television program, FUJIWARA performs his Cure Gorilla transformation as comedy material. Now we have recapped the episode, now let's think about Cure Gorilla's abilities and what he'd bring to the team. Cure Gorilla's abilities. Ability number 1. Gorilla powers. If he's in Cure Gorilla, he'd have Gorilla's straight. He could lift Akams with his straight. He'd possibly not even Akyani or the Bad End Generals could stop him with his Gorilla straight. Ability number 2. Flip phone gun sword. So have we all seen Kamen Rider phase in the series Kamen Rider phase? He can turn his transformation device to a gun and to a sword. And what do we see with Cure Gorilla? He can turn his flip-phone into a transformation device in the joke, so I'd imagine it would work the same way as in the joke. Ability number 3. Gorilla Jungle Blast. If every member of Smile Precure has an Akan purifying ability, I'd imagine he had as well. It would be themed around in jungle. Ability number 4. Trillion Jokes. If he has trillion jokes up his sleeve, maybe he could use them in a Toon Force way, making the Akams overwhelmed. Ability number 5. Big head joke. In the episode, he joked about his bead head. What if he could turn it big and headbutt Akams, making them splatten like a pancake? He'd be very overpowered. Now let's go over how his team dynamic would be with each Cure in the team. Hashizora Miyuki, she and Haranishi would have great chemistry. Akin Hino, she and Haranishi had great chemistry in the episode. Akin would show proof why she is such a great friend. Yae Kai's, she could make art for Haranishi for his comedy shows. Now Midorikawa, she would treat him like an other dad to her. Ryuka Aoki, she would treat him with respect. Candy, she'd be very cute, and Haranishi would use her like a mascot for his comedy shows. Next, let's go over pros and cons. Pros. He'd be very helpful to the team, especially during the last arc. He'd be great friend to them. He could make Smile Precure more popular. Cons. He has a job, so he could not always help Precures in battles. He could not control his powers perfectly always. He is old, so maybe he has some backpins. That's all. Remember to like, subscribe. That's all. Bye.